What's this?
My title.
Oh.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1017 is the number. So I heard something interesting today, which I thought was kind of bizarre. And this won't take long. Like every day I tell myself I'm going to do a short, open, and take about, 5 minutes, and then we're done. And then I go through my show prep and I read the news and I see things and I go, what I said I was going to stop saying in 2022. Wait, what? And so I keep trying, but then I keep reading the news. And so I either have to stop reading the news or I have to stop talking to people, which is difficult to do when you run a talk show. I just find it strange. So I'm looking in the news and it says there's this news conference with the mayor, and there's a news conference with the chief of police, and there's a news conference with the Office of Violence Prevention. And no, I'm not dragging them. I'm glad that they're doing something positive. But what I wish it was innovative. Are you ever satisfied? No, I'm not. Because no one's ever satisfied with me. Everyone expects you to operate at a higher level and do better each and every time. So if that's what I hold myself to, I'm not going to hold you to a standard that I don't hold to myself. Not perfection, but at least be able to sit down and do things that you're supposed to do. So when I looked at it, one of the items in it said that we are going to now start writing curfew tickets to kids that are out. And then I said, good. And then I went, wait. So instead of coming up with ways that were more innovative, more strategic, more surgical, more specific, we're going to do a statute that's already on the books that if you're under a certain age, you can't be out after 10 o'clock during the week and 11 o'clock on the weekend. And so what I'm hearing is that when you did a curfew and you just included under 21, you just included, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. So what exactly was different or wrong, or what about that was supposed to be significant? And I guess that is a carryover from yesterday, because nothing. But then I started looking at it and I said to myself, if that's what you're purporting to do, to write citations that are $94 for adults and $100 and something for parents and parental responsibility for curfew. First of all, don't just write tickets for parents automatically for curfew. You have to very specifically figure out who's out after curfew, who's not, who's coming home from work, all those things. So officers, do your job. Be diligent, but be fair and equitable. And the city allows for a 16-year-old who's on their way home from work and can prove they're coming home from work. And don't make up these ridiculous things like they didn't have an ID from the job or something like that, or they weren't wearing a uniform. If they tell you where they were working, you can at least follow up and check with the place the next day. And if they don't work there, write them a ticket. Right? All tickets won't be written at the appropriate time. In the meantime, take the person home. Do a citizen conveyance, right? Don't just leave them out on the street because now you're responsible. That type of thing. But then it dawned on me, aren't you supposed to be doing this anyway? Why would the mayor have to direct the police department to do something that's already a city statute that they should be doing anyway? So what I'm hearing, of course, and we understand that the police department is short officers and that you have different priority calls that take precedent. However, if a kid is out after curfew and you take them home, wouldn't that alleviate most of the problems? I mean, just based on the assumption, and of course it's an assumption, we'll have to get some real information once the police department releases it, of who was actually committing these crimes. Were they juveniles under age 17? And if so, what significant number of curfew tickets could we write and alleviate that issue by taking them home or holding them and having parents come get them, writing citations. And at that point, being poor is not an excuse for being out when you're not supposed to. Having to work and not knowing where your child is not an excuse for not getting a parental responsibility ticket. So in this one, I'm 100% behind the mayor. I'm 100% behind the police chief. I'm 100% behind the Office of Violence Prevention. I just wish it could have been done sooner so we wouldn't have to be here now today. And so if I'm clear, we are actually simply going to do something I've been complaining about for the year and 5 months I've been on the new 1017 The Truth, is to use the laws that you already have on the books to stop crime in the Black community. Tell your prosecutor if he doesn't lock people up who are guilty, right? And if they're not guilty, let them go. But if they're found guilty, or if they commit a crime and you have the evidence that says they committed the crime, prosecute them. Stop trying to be nice, because all you're doing is making elderly people in the Black community unsafe, and very young people in the Black community unsafe. Because you're not sending them back to your neighborhood, you're putting them in mine. But if all you're doing is coming up with a plan about statutes and ordinances that we already have, what are we doing? And if all we're doing is writing curfew tickets for people who steal, drive reckless, and kill people, and if you're telling me today that that's the plan, okay.